But the breaking story at this moment, the farmers' march, the Delhi Chalo march has been blocked on the Punjab-Haryana border as the farmers, thousands of them, were marching towards Delhi from Punjab. The march, we are now told, will restart tomorrow morning. Farmers claiming at least 100 protesters have been injured, even as some policemen have also suffered injuries. The national capital has been fortified and the police continues to warn of stern action. We'll show you images of the kind of violence that's taken place or the violent protests that have taken place here today. But that really is the story dominating the headlines. Once again, it appears we have a farmer 2.0 agitation building up ahead of the Lok Sabha elections. What exactly does that mean? Who are these farmer protesters? And why is this a new challenge for the centre? It's our top story tonight.
Tear gas fills the air. Fierce confrontations. Obstacles. Sharp spikes. Barbed wire barriers. And law enforcement in riot gear. Once again, farm protests erupt in India's grain bowl heartland, evoking memories of the march from Punjab and Haryana to the nation's capital on November 26, 2020.
हालात यहाँ पर कहीं ना कहीं बेकाबू होते जा रहे हैं और सिचुएशन तनाव वाली बनी हुई है। लोगों को भी समझाने की कोशिश की जा रही है कि लोग भी आगे ना बढ़ें। और ये देखिए, ये जो ड्रोन आया है, इससे टीयर गैस सेल फेंके जा रहे हैं।
Behind me is what you witness is almost like a war zone because there's a consistent, oh my god, this is where a tear gas has gone on, and obviously this is almost suffocating because of the nature. And remember, this is where media station and continuously you see the farmers on one end, and this is where the farmers on one end and the Central Armed Police as well as Haryana Police on the other end. So continuously there is a back and forth stone pelting.
This time around, the protests carry a different tone from the prolonged agitation of the past. In contrast to the 2020 protests against new agricultural laws, which were eventually repealed a year later. The February 2024 protests focus on long-standing grievances confronting the country's agricultural sector.
देखिए किसान कितना पीसफुल है, कुछ भी नहीं हो रहा, फिर भी आप ऊपर क्या बोलते हैं, रॉबर्ट से ऊपर से हंजू गैस फेंके जा रहे हैं, ड्रोन से।
एजिटेशन कितनी देर चलेगा यहाँ पे?
देखिए जब तक सरकार मांग नहीं मानती।
Key among the farmers' demands is the enactment of a new law ensuring a minimum support price for their crops. Despite some progress on other fronts, the impasse over the legally backed minimum support price fueled Monday's demonstrations. While the government sets minimum prices for over 20 crops annually, the Food Corporation of India primarily purchases rice and wheat at these rates, benefiting only about 6% of farmers. The government maintains that time is needed to devise a solution.
मैं मानता हूं कि बातचीत के माध्यम से समाधान निकल सकता है। इस बात को समझने की जरूरत है। इस बात को यदि हम समझेंगे तो स्वाभाविक रूप से इसका समाधान को अच्छे ढंग से निकाल पाएंगे।
Traffic routes and border restrictions around Delhi led to extensive gridlock in the city. Currently, it is Shambhu border, located approximately 230 kilometers north of Delhi, that has become the focal point of clashes between enraged farmers and authorities striving to prevent their advance towards the city. With Kamaljeet Sandhu and Satyendra Chauhan, Bureau Report, India Today.
So strikingly familiar scenes to what we saw across 2020. Farmer protests then and now. What are the differences first? 2020, these protests were headed by the Samyukta Kisan Morcha, a much wider omnibus morcha that included farmers from Uttar Pradesh, Haryana, Punjab and other parts. In 2024, it's led primarily by a splinter group mainly based in Punjab and the Kisan Mazdoor Morcha. In 2020, about 500 farmer unions took part. This time, about 250 unions, again mainly based in Punjab, are taking part. In 2020, the Punjab-based Kisan Mazdoor Sangharsh Committee didn't take part in these protests. Now, in a new avatar, the Kisan Mazdoor Morcha is leading these protests. So there's a difference in the leadership. In 2020, prominent unions like the BKU, the Bharatiya Kisan Union, the Tiket faction, some of them from Uttar Pradesh had joined in. This time, these unions are staying away, but they are slamming the crackdown. Also, I might add, this time the government has decided to crack down from day one, not allow the farmers to enter the national capital. Let's raise some big questions then. Are we heading for another full-on government versus farmers confrontation, almost 2.0 in this battle? Is this poll-eve blackmail with general elections just a few weeks away, or is this justified protest? Is the government trampling on the right to protest by denying the farmers the right to even reach the national capital? Is a minimum support price for all crops that the farmers are demanding viable? I'm joined by Devinder Sharma, Food and Trade Policy Analyst, who's tracked the issue for years. Veerpal Singh is farmer leader and agriculture economy expert. Also being joined by Rajat Sethi, political commentator, and Rohan Gupta, the Congress's spokesperson, is also with us. Appreciate all of you joining us here on the show today. I want to come to you first, Devinder Sharma, before I go to the politicians, to give us your expert view. Do you believe that this protest is justified, that a legal guarantee for a minimum support price to farmers is something which the exchequer can bear, and is it really a progressive reform?
Well, let me be first of all very clear, Rajdeep, that a legal MSP is the only way to pull out farmers from the terrible crisis that exists today in India. And there is no other way, and I think we must accept that there is no burden on the government. It is a kind of a creation by the economists who tell us that, the country will have to bear all expenses, which many say is equal to 17 lakh crores, because the government has to procure. No. I think what the farmers are demanding is that the MSP becomes a legal benchmark below which nobody will purchase, which means the Artiyas, the organized retail or the public sector, nobody will purchase below that price. That is what the farmers are demanding, and there is no additional expenditure there. In fact, my understanding is that the country's economy will boom, because after all, if the more money comes into the hands of farmers, let's not forget, 86% farmers today are dependent on markets. Only 14% farmers get MSP in India. And if 86% farmers were happy with the markets, there was no reason why farmers would protest.
No, but when you throw these numbers at me, I could counter, sir, with due regard, when you throw these numbers, I could counter by saying, when you say farmers are protesting, these are primarily Punjab farmers. These are primarily rich or middle landholders from Punjab, rice and wheat farmers. That's not the entire country.
Well, I think we need to understand the proximity of Delhi. It is closer to Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh or Rajasthan, and you are seeing farmers coming from those states. The fact of the matter is farmers are demanding for the entire country. The farmers are saying make legal MSP a legal instrument, which means whether he is in Bihar, whether he is in Andhra Pradesh or Karnataka or wherever the farmer is, he is going to get the benefit of a legal MSP.
No, but I don't see farmers in Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh protesting, Devinder Sharma, which is why the argument is made that this is politically loaded, it's politically sponsored.
Well, when was this kind of argument not made against farmers? For last 40 years, I have been saying farmers have been blamed for this, farmers have been blamed for that. Every time you blame the farmers, but listen to the farmers once. They are part of the same society that we live in. They are not criminals. They are not anti-national. Why should we not allow farmers to come and convey what they want to convey? Why are we so panicky that, these are the people who are going to disturb the kind of a normalcy that exists? No. Please bear with farmers, listen to them. They have a genuine kind of a concern which the nation needs to stand up for. Okay, how long can we go on saying that farmers are committing suicide, farmers are in distress, and so on? The farmers have paid a heavy price all these years for the kind of neglect the policymakers have towards farmers. I think it is time now farmers must get their rightful due, which is a legal MSP.
Veerpal Singh, do you agree with Devinder Sharma? A legal MSP is the only way? क्या आपको लगता है केवल एक MSP से ही सभी जो किसानों की समस्या है वो सुलझ जाएगी?
नहीं, देखिए शर्मा जी खैर काफी एक्सपर्ट हैं, जानते हैं इस बात को, ऐसी बात नहीं है। लेकिन जैसे कि इन्होंने बताया, हमारे देश में आज की तारीख में 86.21% मार्जिनल और स्मॉल फार्मर्स हैं, जिनके पास 2 हेक्टेयर से कम, यानी कि मार्जिनल फार्मर्स हैं वो 1 हेक्टेयर तक है और स्मॉल फार्मर्स हैं अप टू 2 हेक्टेयर है। तो उनकी संख्या अधिक होने के कारण उनको अपना फार्म प्रोड्यूस बेचने में भी और प्रोडक्शन करने में भी, मार्केट तक पहुंचाने में भी बहुत सारी दिक्कतें हैं। दे आर हैंड टू माउथ, मतलब उनके पास ज्यादा मार्केटेबल सरप्लस नहीं होता कि वे मार्केट में इतना प्रोडक्ट दे सकें। तो उनकी स्थिति को सुधारने के लिए, और हर किसान चाहता है कि मेरा जो उत्पाद है वो उचित रेट पे बिके। यदि मेरा उत्पाद उचित रेट पे बिकेगा तो मैं और अधिक प्रोडक्शन करने की कोशिश करूंगा, जिससे कि मेरे घर की आर्थिक स्थिति और अच्छी हो जाए। तो ये ठीक है, मैं भी इस फेवर में हूं कि किसान को उसकी प्रोड्यूस का उचित रेट तो मिल जाए। लेकिन ये भी मैं साथ साथ कहूंगा कि वर्तमान जो केंद्र सरकार है वो देखो हर समय किसानों के गेट पर खड़ी है, किसानों के घर पर खड़ी है, किसानों के लिए तैयार खड़ी है बात करने के लिए। 24 आवर्स उनके गेट खुले हुए हैं किसान भाइयों की हेल्प करने के लिए। तो वो चाहते हैं बिल्कुल किसानों की हेल्प हो। और वो ये भी मैं कहता हूँ, हमारे देश का यदि किसान खुशहाल है तो देश खुशहाल है।
आप कह रहे हैं मोदी सरकार तैयार है किसानों के जितनी भी समस्या है उन्हें सुलझाने के लिए। किसानों को डायलॉग करना चाहिए, जो इतने सालों से एक तरह से बात हो रही है लेकिन कोई ब्रेक थ्रू नहीं हुई। मैं आपके पास फिर आऊंगा, लेकिन रोहन गुप्ता, it's very interesting. The Congress has already plunged into this. Rahul Gandhi and Mallikarjun Kharge have said if the Congress comes to power, we will implement the MSP formula given by the late Dr. M.S. Swaminathan, who just received the Bharat Ratna, which would be cost of production into what point 50% over the cost of production, including cost of inputs. The fact is, though, Rohan Gupta, the BJP is saying, why doesn't the Congress implement in Congress ruled states? Agriculture is a state subject. If the Congress wants, create a model state. You have now Telangana. Make Telangana a state where the Swaminathan report is implemented. Then you can claim credit for it. Otherwise, it only seems you are trying to ghair out the BJP government ahead of the elections.
Absolutely, Rajdeep. If you see BJP government, see last 1.5 years, farmers, after the protest was taken back and government repealed the 3 farm laws, they promised that this act of the demand of MSP of farmers will be taken care of. Now, after 1.5 years, rather questioning Congress party, don't you feel we should ask question to BJP government?
I'll ask the BJP. I want to tell our viewers the BJP has said they will not send a guest at the moment on the farm laws issue. So clearly, the BJP also doesn't want to answer questions. But that apart, I asked you this. I'll ask Rajat a few questions on that on the government stand. But my point to you, why don't you implement it in Telangana or Karnataka? Show the way. This is the problem. You don't have a model.
If you see Telangana, we have implemented the continued scheme of the last government, and we have increased the money which is given to farmers. We have increased by 1,000 rupees.
Yeah, but that even Modi's government, that Mr. Modi's government is also doing. They are saying overall they have increased MSP. I am saying implement Swaminathan report. Rahul Gandhi today said, I will implement Swaminathan report.
Rajdeep, we will definitely do it. Our governments are working the formula in Congress ruled states, and we have shown the way in Chhattisgarh also, where we increased the rates, the MSP rates for all the crops in Chhattisgarh. We have done that in Rajasthan, and in our states we will do very shortly. But question here is different, Rajdeep. When you are asking questions to Mr. Modi, who promised that by 2022 farmer incomes will be doubled, why so much of anger with farmers? If you see the way farmers are treated on border, we have never seen the history of India that farmers are treated like this. You are not even ready to listen to them. You ensured that because of Punjab election, you repealed 3 farm laws. You ensured farmers, you gave them confidence. You will think on this MSP law, but you are not ready to even discuss. You could have called farmers. You could have sat with them. You could have found out some solution and maybe decided the roadmap of implementation at national level. But you are not ready to do that.
Okay.
It shows your anger. It shows your arrogance against the farmers. You are talking about the guarantees, but you are not ready to listen to Annadata. I think this is the question arrogance by BJP that whatever they do, because of their, overall appeal or emotional things, they will be able to steer out of this farmers issue and nobody will ask question to them. I think the whole country is watching the arrogance of BJP and they are not going to let go this time.
Rajat Sethi, do you accept that the Modi government has simply miscalculated the mood? They miscalculated it in 2020 and now in 2024. There is a building anger over farmers that various promises have been made to them, but they have not been implemented. Forget, of course, Mr. Modi ji's claim that I will double farm incomes by 2022. That's not happened. But even the claims that in some way these concerns of MSP, it's a vexed issue, will be addressed. That doesn't, it's only when the water has come to, when the protesters threaten a march, that suddenly union ministers rush to resolve the problem.
First of all, Rajdeep ji, what data have you gotten hold of which says that the farmer income has gone up by X% and it hasn't met the 100% increment?
The data I have very clearly shows that farm incomes have not doubled in the period. I am talking of average farmers have not doubled in the period that Mr. Modi claimed.
No, tell me, Rajdeep ji, then how much has it increased by? Or how much has it gone down by? When you're claiming something, say a statement that it hasn't been doubled, then what has happened actually? See, you are not quoting any data point. Government, sources have been quoting data point, and that is one marker which you can look at. There is no income tax associated with farm income, so you can't have other, proxy-based inputs which can give you some early numbers as to how much of the farm income has happened. Has it gone up or not? So please understand, data paucity is there and government needs to find ways of getting that data in which you can account for how much of the farm income has actually gone up. So please let us not quote things which are not established independently. That's number one. Number two, and more importantly, see, some of these statements that are coming out of these unions are largely driven from the model of Yogendra Yadav, who is accompanying Rahul Gandhi in his yatra. If you are not smelling, such a seasoned politician like you, if you're not smelling politics in it, then I would call it naive. There is clear-cut politics. They're talking about things which do not make sense. It's as bizarre as it gets. They talk about walking out of WTO. They're talking about finishing all imports and exports and trading relations with all countries. Similarly, if you were to pick up Maharashtra issues, the single biggest concern of the farming community in Maharashtra was that why did government put in the curtailments on the export? Why did the government put in the minimum price on the export? That is what the farmers, the onion farmers in Maharashtra were claiming. See, government provides you support or doesn't provide you support. Wherever you have to do politics, you will go to no extent to do politics and make a point. So be it. Let it be that. Now, coming to the more important aspects around MSP, I have been hearing a lot of Kisan union leaders coming out and saying that we do not expect the government to pay the MSP. We expect a law wherein enforcement of the MSP is to be done, wherein any middleman or any Alatiya wants to procure from the farmer should do it at that minimum MSP price. Now you tell me, Rajdeep ji, most of the transactions that happen in farm produce happen in cash. If the government steps in and tries to disrupt the system, cash procurement will stop. Which Alatiya in anywhere in North India deals in check payments? Give me one example of one mandi. It just doesn't happen like that, right? How are you going to enforce a law? See, people who claim that, you can come up with a law also have to give us at least a roadmap as to how are you going to implement it without breaking the entire system. What is being proposed will actually break the entire system. Coming to what Rahul Gandhi has said. Now, Rahul Gandhi goes out and unilaterally claims that he's going to provide that. Has he come out with a white paper that this is going to be the budgetary expenses extra and this is how I am going to meet the budgetary requirements for this. I am going to cut expenditure on XYZ. The country needs to know. An average taxpayer needs to know that how is your budget going to balance out. If you're going, by all means, go and promise. But it should not be like a Nyaya scheme that you promised in 2019 that I'm going to give 72,000 rupees to every household without accounting, without even telling this country that how are you going to sponsor it.
No, but I will ask you before I go to Devinder Sharma, because on the specific point you've raised on doubling farm incomes, he should be answering it as someone who's claimed that farm incomes have stagnated and not increased at all. I just want you to answer though one question, which interestingly Sanjay Jha, the former Congress spokesperson, has just tweeted that the finance minister announced a tax relief bonanza of rupees 1,45,000 crores per annum for India's corporate sector. So you get about 750,000 crores, which in the last 5 years have been benefits to the corporate sector. But when it comes to MSP for farmers, the government says we don't have the money. What would you say to the likes of Sanjay Jha?
If it is directed to me, I would want him that what is the cost of ensuring an MSP through government procurement, by the way. If there is a government procurement, the number is around 11 lakh crore rupees. There have been ample amount of research articles which have been published. How are you going to account for an 11 lakh crore rupees per year when your entire budget of infrastructure is around 11 lakh crores, which includes all railway lines, all airports, all highways, every single thing?
Okay, let me give one of the figures, Rajat, that you have mentioned. When we compare crop with weighted cost of production and the MSP and the Swaminathan formula, how would it work out? This is down to earth, the magazine's report. Wheat weighted average cost of production 1652. MSP announced under the Swaminathan formula would take it to 2,478. Barley weighted average cost of production 1614. MSP announced 1850 rupees. Swaminathan formula would take it to 2421. I'm just giving you examples that I put there on the screen. So there would be a substantial increase on burden on the exchequer, Devinder Sharma, A. And B, according to Rajat Sethi, when we throw numbers that the Prime Minister has not been able to double farm incomes, you need to tell us, when skeptics like you say farm incomes have stagnated, do you have a source to say farm incomes have stagnated?
I think this is a very interesting, question which is tossed around as if, farmers don't know their income is going up. Perhaps they need to reconsider whatever they are doing.
Give me a source when you say farm incomes have stagnated. What is the basis when you say farm incomes have stagnated? On what basis are you saying
it? Listen, let me answer that question. A recent study has come out in October last year. It is from the OECD. Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, the largest or the biggest trading bloc of the world. That study has evaluated 54 economies, major economies, including India, and seen how much of support has gone to farmers. Its report very clearly says that since year 2000 till today, India is the only country among these 54 countries where farmers have been जिसको कहते हैं कि घाटे की खेती करता आ रहा है from since year 2000. And in the last year, they said Indian farmers lost 14 lakh crores. This is this report. Just see the down-to-earth report on this, and you will get to know there is data already available. Now the question is, there are skeptics who always say, no, farmers are a burden on the country, and this argument, again, I hear it again, that there is no money in the country for that. No, sorry. What Mr. Satish Jha said, I think is very right. Every year the government announces there's a button pressing exercise that happens. 2,000 crore is being given to farmers under the Pradhan Mantri Yojana. But the government never says we are giving 1.45 lakh crore to the corporates. This doesn't end here. 15 lakh crores of loans, bad loans of corporates have been written off. And then on top of it, willful defaulters who had the money to pay back, they have been given a kind of a walkover by the Reserve Bank of India saying to the banks that you compromise, and the amount is 3.45 lakh crore. There is money, abundant money available in this country, but it is going to people who don't deserve it. A. Now B, your question is to how much it will tax. There are reports in this country, studies, very important studies by universities and by commissions which say that if the government has to intervene even when the MSP becomes legal, the total burden is not going to be more than 1.5 to 2 lakh crore. These studies are available. Now, if you don't want to see those kind of studies, don't blame others. I think you should be clear. You are the ones who don't know these studies, and you are trying to say where is the data available? Data is available. In 2016, I think the country needs to know the economic reform, economic document that comes 2 days before the budget, which is the government's economic data or the paper, which says very clearly that the average income of farmer in 17 states of India, which means half the country, the average income in those states is only 20,000 rupees a year, which means farmers were earning less than 1,700 rupees per month. I can't even keep a cow for 1,700 rupees. You can't keep a dog if you are living in a city in 1,700 rupees. Imagine how the farmers were surviving on 1,700 rupees per month. Okay. And this is a data which is available from 2016. This is government's own data.
No, what is clear, of course.
And then, look at this situational assessment survey.
No, what is clear is the Commission of Agricultural Costs and Prices last year, which was looking to compute MSP. One thing is very clear: costs of inputs have risen substantially. There's no doubt, and farmers have suffered usually from inflationary pressures in the last few years. But Rohan Gupta, when these calculations are done, when Rahul Gandhi and Mr. Kharge make these announcements, they should put these calculations that the Congress has done in public domain. You came to power in 2004, you were there till 2014. You could have implemented Swaminathan Commission report then. You see, I come back to it. If the Congress wants to make this the political issue of 2024, walk the talk. You have a government in Telangana and Karnataka. Announce it tomorrow morning. Let Siddaramaiah or Revanth Reddy announce. We are implementing Swaminathan Commission report. Then you can put the BJP on the back foot. Otherwise, you seem to be only playing politics.
Absolutely not. Rajdeep, first of all, because BJP panelist is not there, one of the analysts asked question that what is the proof, what is the number that farmers' income have not doubled. I'll answer that and then answer this question. See, as per the committee which was formed, if you have to make the farmers' income double annually, the growth has to be 10.4%. And NABARD formed a committee, and there was a survey called All India Financial Inclusion Survey. According to that survey, 2015-16, the farmers' income grew by only 1.7%. And from 1918 till 2019, it rose by 3%. So if the PM promise is at 10%, if the growth is at 3%, how can you say that the income has doubled? Obviously, it's not. Forget that, Rajiv. 1 lakh crore has been refunded by Ministry of Agriculture, which was not spent. They have reduced the spend on farmers, and that also they could not spend in the market. So what it shows the intention of the government. Now I'm coming to the last point. You are saying that we have to walk the talk. Definitely we have made the budgetary provisions. 10 lakh crore is going to be the cost on the exchequer. One of my friends, you just spoke about tweet of Sanjay. The same thing I spoke in the evening. When you can just wave off 10 lakh crore of your friends from the finance budget, why you cannot spend money on farmers? It is a question of intention. The government which is refunding 1 lakh crore of allocated budget back to the government because they could not spend, how do you expect them promising MSP to the farmers? It is a question of intention, Rajdeep.
I keep repeating, if the Congress wants, they can do it in the states that they rule. That's very clear. No, that is very clear. You cannot deny that. You have to walk the talk in the next couple of weeks if you want to do it before the elections.
We are working on that, and shortly you will see our policy.
Okay, we will see the announcement. Rajat Sethi, let me give you a final word on this. Rajat Sethi, will you agree, though, that the Modi government somewhere, which, whether in 2020 or now, doesn't seem to really know how to break the ice on this issue? They have to find some way.
Some way to deal with these NGOs.
No, why dismiss them as NGOs, anti-national? Are you telling me every farmer today is sponsored by some NGO?
If it is not colored, let the genuine demands come out, which make genuine intent to resolve the crisis, not just of the farm holding farmers, but also the farm laborers. We need to find an equitable and a justified solution to the last man standing in the farm ecosystem, not just the ones who are milking out most of the benefits of the MSP. Please keep in mind, it is a deeply distorted market where fairness has to be the ultimate principle. And if fairness is the lens, then Prime Minister Modi should listen to them and address those issues.
Okay.
But I, as an analyst, I can clearly see, when the MSP procurements have gone up all the way up till 3 lakh crores annually, can you multiply it by 4 and do a 12 lakh crore procurement? Clearly, that is not going to happen. There is no means with any state government. Saying is one thing, doing is another. We need to find would private procurement, see 75% of the crops go through private procurement. How can you create an MSP system through digital procurement, through all online payments system without breaking the system to ensure an MSP system is implemented in the private procurement aspect as well as the way government procurement.
Completely,
As long as
Rajat, I'm sorry, I have to stop you because I've run out of time completely.